Okay, so let's start today's class. Today we will be covering pandas. And before jumping into today's class, can anyone recap what we have learned so far and what you um, learned from past 4 or 5 sessions?
We've been learning a method of data manipulation through a program called NumPy. In other words, numerical Python, and that NumPy is the origin is the it's like the parent for all other computing softwares such as Pandas and other things which can be used for other data manipulation purposes.
Thank you. And first 2 sessions we did the statistics, right? Do you recall anything from the statistics that we covered the first 2 weeks?
Well, we covered the basic like mean, median, mode, and then we also covered how to. It's basically how to organize numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recall, I think it was. I have to add on a little bit to the NumPy. We also talked about matrices a little bit.
Okay. Good.
And
yeah. Men who's starting? Can you announce your name, please?
Meghna.
Meghna? Yeah, very good, Meghna. Very good. So you recapped it right. So we talked about statistics, basics of statistics. Then we started about NumPy. And we worked with the NumPy arrays and matrices. Right now, we are going to do pandas. Okay, pandas is called the panel data, or it's panel data. So why we need pandas? We have NumPy is very strong, right? We said it is really fast, and it is really handy when you are doing a big calculations. Then why do we need pandas? Yes, Darren. Yeah, DFS. Okay. Data frames. Okay. What is the limitations of NumPy? So the array needs to be homogeneous, right? We cannot have a heterogeneous data type within the array, right? It needs to be homogeneous. Either it needs to be integer or float or a string. It needs to be a homogeneous. But sometimes it's in the real life, we don't have the homogeneous data. It is a heterogeneous. That means you will be dealing with variety of data. You will be talking about like dates, money, or it is about any text. So we have a variety of data. So that's why we are going to use the pandas. Okay. And in pandas, we will be talking about what are the data types pandas will support, what is the input and output capabilities, and what are the operations we can do, data filtering and plotting and statistics. We will be covering this in pandas, and pandas is built based on NumPy. Okay, it is built based on NumPy, and we are really going to get our hands dirty with the data analysis. That means we are going to do a lot of manipulations with the data. So you're going to write tons and tons of code going forward. So for that, before proceeding that, like we are going to get a lot of codes, you are going to write a lot of codes. Before proceeding that, I want you to go through this Python style guide. So this is the basic style guide written for Python, like what we like. It is talking about indentation. It is talking about the naming convention, how you write the code. So take time to read this and get familiar with this style content, because this is really handy when you're working on a big program. And while you're writing the homework, I do not see you are adding any comments to the homework. Few of the submissions, I do not see any comments at all, because without comments you don't know what you're doing, right? So when you're working on a big program, you will keep on coding, and without comments, even if you're going to come back after 2 or 3 months, you will not remember what you have done. So the best practice to write the code is start with commenting. Okay, see, for even here while they are explaining, you can see this, right? They added all the comments. So add all the comments and why you are doing it, and give an explanation. That will help you in long run. So you don't want to just uh, um, learn Python just for the sake of learning it. You need to use it, right? So use it in a proper way. So please start adding comments in your homework and read this one. This is a really handy document that talks about all the Python coding style. Um, I will add this in the lecture notes, part of the lecture notes, this link. So go ahead and read it. Any questions on this before we jump into Pandas? Yeah, I will post the link here too. Yeah. Okay, I will post here. Okay, this is the link that talks about the whole Python. And any libraries you're going to talk about it will also follow the same naming convention, same style. And here, the interesting thing I have seen is the names to avoid. What are the names you can avoid when you're naming the variables? See, you can avoid this. See this, yes, lowercase l, because if it doesn't look, we don't know whether it is one or lowercase l or I, it is really confusing. So these are the little things that they have added here. So this one will help you for better coding. Okay, take time to read it. Shall we move to Python, Pandas? Okay, let's move. Okay, so we talked about the style guides and Pandas. We are going to talk about this. And why do we need to use Pandas? We are using Pandas to data wrangling, data transformation, and with Pandas, it is really dynamic. You can do endless possibilities with Pandas. And this is basic for a lot of analysis. You can do the descriptive statistics and inferential statistics with Pandas. So that's why we are using Pandas, and it is based for the data visualization too. And then we are going to talk about data types in Pandas. So there are 3 data types that are supported by Pandas. One is series, the next one is data frame, and the next one is index. So I'm going to show you the pictorial representation of all the data types, then you will be able to follow that. So if you look at that, a series is like just like an array, NumPy array, one-dimensional array. Okay, it will have just this, like you will have just one column. Okay, so this is series, and data frame is the addition of all the series. That means it will have rows and columns. If you worked in your Google Sheet or Excel, this will be familiar, right? This one will be familiar. So this is the data frame, whereas when you see just one column, that is the series. And one thing you can notice, that this is the index. This is the third data type. This is index. This index always starts with 0. But with Pandas, you can customize it. When we are going to the code and demo, you can see we can customize the index, and the headers are also index. In Pandas, we call the headers as columns, and these row index as index. Okay, so these are the data types supported by Pandas. It is series, data frame, and index. These are the three data types supported by Pandas. Okay, any questions on the data types? So here, so Panda series is like a column in a table. It is one-dimensional array holding any type of data. It can hold any type of data. And data frame is a two-dimensional array. You'll have rows and columns, and it is similar to your spreadsheet like Google Sheet or Excel or SQL table. It has two dimension. One is the rows and one is the column. And we can use the dictionary to create the data frame too. And the every data frame and series has index. That is the third data type. And index always starts with 0, but you have an ability to customize it. If you're not customizing it, it always starts with, like, it will always start with 0 and 1 and so on. But if you want to customize, let's say you want to call this ABC, you can call this. You can, while you're creating your data frame or series, you can create those. Okay, that is the powerful feature in Panda. So you can create your own index, and it is really flexible. Okay. And this is the data frame. When we talk about the data frame, this is the data frame. So this is your column and this is your row. And if you look at this area, this is going to be your index, and the top portion is going to be your column headers. Any questions on the data frame?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, not on the data frame, but I was wondering, why would we use Pandas instead of NumPy?
Because NumPy, let's say you have three sets of here data, right? Let's say you want to add a heterogeneous data. For this example, it is homogeneous, right? Everything is an integer. But let's say you want to know your data frame has your, like, you have a data frame that is with the students set of data, that you need the name, you need the student's grade, and you need their age and date of birth. See, all four are different data types, right? Name is a string, age is an integer, and your date of birth is a date type. And what else I said? Grade is going to be integer. So this Pandas will support multiple data type within the data frame. When we work on NumPy, it needs to be homogeneous, right? You cannot have a heterogeneous data within the array. You can have it, but it is going to be really expensive. Like the memories, what it is going to allocate is really expensive. That's why we are going to use data frame in Pandas, where you can have the heterogeneous data. Heterogeneous means multiple variety of data within single data frame. Any questions? You know what is homogeneous and heterogeneous, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's do this one little. So I have a training data set. I'm just going to open an Excel that I have. I'm going to show you. Okay. So this one, let's see. So here I have this data. If I'm going to load this to NumPy, it is going to error out, because if you see, it has the float, it has a string, it has a number. I think it may have data also, probably. Not sure. Yeah, no, it doesn't have that data. So we have a variety of data set here. So that's why what we need, like a variety of data type within this. So in order to analyze it, NumPy is not the right tool. We will be using Pandas to analyze it, because it has some heterogeneous, it has some multiple variety of data. Got it?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. So with being said, let's dive into our code. So here is my, what's this? Okay. So you're going to, so this is the document that talks about pandas. I'm going to send you in the chat. So this is the pandas document. So read this document. This is a handy resource for like how, like what I said for Python, it is talking about pandas and it is the user guide for the pandas. Okay, when we are working on pandas, as usual, like we need to import the data, right? So for importing, we will be using this, like import pandas as PD. This is the standard convention that we use. We also use NumPy because we are going to create a NumPy array and change that array to pandas data frame or series. So that's why I input both. And so if I whenever you're starting with, you are always going to import that with the pandas. Import the pandas and NumPy. You can import both at the same time because you will be using it for a lot of analysis that NumPy will be using here and there. So it's better to import it now itself. Then, so you all familiar with this one, right? This one, like version, it is going to give you version. If you want to know the version of what Panda you are using, it is pd dot double underscore version double underscore. So when you run it, it is going to give you the version. Can you tell the version that you are using in your when you're importing? What is the version you are seeing? Can you just type or okay, same version? Okay, so you're seeing the version, right? Now it is going to show the version only for the NumPy. Sorry, pandas. And if you want to know the version for the NumPy, you're going to do the same thing. np dot double underscore version. So we are going to do that. So it will give you the same thing, like the whatever the versions we are. Let's do this one, print. And this one also, let's do the print. So we are getting both. Okay, so it is going to give you the version of both. Instead of that, let's say if you want to get the version of each and everything, you can get it. Otherwise, if you want to show the versions for everything you have, like any versions, like any packages you have, you can just type like this pd.show versions. This is going to give you the version for everything. See, it is going to give you all the versions. For Python, I have this one, Python bits, OS, and Pandas, I have this version, NumPy. So these are the packages that were installed, and it is going to give me all the versions of this, any packages available in the IDE you are working on. Why we need it? Because you may need to work on a different version. Your colleague may be working on a different version. Sometimes you need to have a compatible version. So that's why if you want to know all the versions, you can, a version of any packages available, you can just do this code. Okay, show pd.show versions. So that is the difference between these two code. np.version or pd.version is going to give you version for only for that particular package. But if you want to know all the versions available, any packages available, this is the trick to do that. Okay. You're following this?
Is there a way that you can change the version?
You can install a new version. Let's say you're going to use the Anaconda, and if you want, you can install a different version of it. Because sometimes you may be working on an older version, like let's say the code that it is already there, it is working on a different version. And if you want to work on that particular version, you need to install that particular package. So in Anaconda, you can install by Conda package, like Conda, install Conda, and you can specify the version. And if you're using the PyCharm, you can use with the pip installation tool. So right now we are using Collab. For Collab, we are not going to install any different version. We are going to use as like whatever that is available. For the scope of this class, we are going to just use Collab. But let's say you're going to work on a different project in Anaconda, like in a Jupyter Notes, if you want to do it, or in a PyCharm, then you may need to check the version and make sure your versions are compatible with your colleagues or with your teammates that you're working on. Okay, that's why we need to pay attention to the versions. It is like in the prior there will be always upgrade, right? For any packages there will be always an upgrade. So the later versions may have like your iPhone, right? You have different versions of iPhone. Every time they're improving it, something like that. So, and if you want your chargers, let's say you're going to work on a charger in a really old iPhone, it may not compatible with your new one, right? Or any new apps that are coming up, it may not compatible with your older iPhone or older smartphone. So same thing here. So the versions are always improving. They are trying to improve. There is always a room for improvement. So they will always improve the libraries or any software, they will always improve. Whenever they are going to improve, there will be a different version of that package. And if you're going to work with the different packages, different version, it needs to be compatible. That's why we need to know what version you're going to work on.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So we already talked about the 3 types of data type, right? Series, data frame, and the index. So we are going to create the series. We are going to create the series first, and we are going to see what is the difference between series and the data frame with the code. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a NumPy array. First, I'm creating a NumPy array, and I'm converting the NumPy array to Panda. So let me get this code to you. I pinged it in the chat. So what I'm doing is first I'm creating a NumPy array, and I'm using the random function, and it is going to, I want 3 values. So I'm specifying 3 values. So I'm going to print this array. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to print this array. So it created an array, and the type of the array is type of this is NumPy array. You can see the type is NumPy array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my series of Panda. I'm going to create series. As I mentioned, series is have just one column, one dimensional array. So I'm going to create a series. So how you can create a series? So this is the variable I'm calling my series. And this is the package I'm calling pd.series. Can you see this is caps? So Python is case sensitive. Make sure you are using the right case. So pd.series, and I'm passing my NumPy array here. Then I'm going to print the my series, and I'm going to print this one. Let's see what's going to happen. See, if you see, this is the NumPy array, the same NumPy array I'm passing in Pandas. So what's happening here? What is the difference between this output and this output? What is the difference you're seeing? Okay, class, okay. Then something obvious is happening here. So in NumPy, the indexes are in index. That's right. So in NumPy, it is implicit. Okay. So in NumPy, the index for each and every element is implicit, whereas in Pandas, it is explicit. So if you can see that indexes are here. Okay, it is already creating the index. Okay, and if I'm going to check what is the type, it is going to be float. Okay, and this it is I want to print my index, so it is going to print index. So the index is see, this is how the index is created here. It starts at 0, it stops at 3, and step is 1. That means it is for each and every element, you're going to have one more value for index. Let's see, instead of 3, let's do 5 here. Okay, I'm going to run a array. I'm going to create an array with 5 elements. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to just run it. Now I have 5 elements. Can you see there are 5 elements? And the stop and stop are different. It is based on the index. So the index is explicit in Pandas. And because of it is explicit, you can change your index. You can call it anything. Yeah, I will do that code. Yeah. So this is the second set of code. I pinged you in the link. Okay. So are you able to see the difference between those? Like when you working with NumPy, you don't have the index. Index are implicit. That means it is hidden. Here it is explicit. It is showing, all the index are showing out. Okay. So let's do this. Now I have like 5 elements, right? I want to change my index. Now it is 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? Instead of that, I want to change my index. So what you can do is you can pass the index in the code, like in the list. So what I'm going to do is, since I added 2 more elements, I'm going to add 2 more values here. So let me run it. So what's going to happen is, instead of the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, my index is here. See, I can customize this index. Okay. With Pandas, we can customize the index. I pinged the code in the chat. Okay. You can call it anything, whatever you want, because sometimes you want to have a certain specific values that make your analysis easy. So you can just do that. And when are you good with this one? Like how we can customize the index? Can you see the difference between this output and this output? Here, the index is starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because we did not assign any index here. But here, when I'm creating my NumPy Panda series, I am assigning the index. I'm asking Panda to assign this index. Like for the first one, it is going to be A. The second one, it is going to be, and so on. When I'm not giving any index, it is creating the index automatically. If I'm providing the index, it is creating the Pandas data series with the index I am providing. So we can customize it. This is the other reason why we use Pandas instead of NumPy, because we can customize the index. Any questions on this one? Can we move to the, so can you see this one? The index here, it is different because it is going to start at 0 and stop at 5. Here, the index is whatever the values we are providing. But one caution here, you need to pass the index as like how many elements you have. You have 5 elements here, right? You need to pass 5 elements. Let's say I'm going to delete this and let's do this. It is going to error out because you have 5 elements, but index you have only 4. So the element, if you're going to customize your elements, index, you need to give the proper elements in the list. So we are passing the list. See, this is the list, right? Python list. We are passing the list for the index. Any questions on this one? Is it clear like how we can create an index for the each and every row?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. Let's say you want to access the first element. You want to access the first element. So you can either access with the index. It still works. Even though you're customizing this A, B, C, D, you can still call it a 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So you can access the access an element from the series. Yeah, I love. Yeah, that's other way to get the locate the a particular element in the data frame. So you can use either A or 0, or let's say if you want to have like this element E, what will be your if you want to type this, like when you want to get this, what do you want to pass here? Let's say you want to pass this E. What do you want to pass here then?
4.
Yes, it is going to be 4, and here, or it is E. So either one will give you the value, like this value. Okay. So the index is the way to locate an element within the data frame. Okay. So we are still on series. So I can say the index is way to locate an element within the series. Okay. Then, so here, like you can also create a list, and you can create a series with the list. You can pass the list, and you can create so there are multiple ways to create a series, right? So this is one of the way. You can just create with a list. You can pass a list, and you can create the series.
Also, why
And
does it say A, B, C, D, E, not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4?
where?
On the my series dot equals P dot
Yeah.
series my numpy array.
Here, because I am passing this index. I don't want the Panda to call it a 0, 1, 2, 3.
So I can make my index whatever I want.
Yes, exactly. You can customize your index. So you can pass the index, and only caution is you need to pass like how many elements you are having. Let's say you are having 6 elements here. You need to pass 6 elements in your index. So the index, it needs to match. Number of index that you're passing needs to be matching with the elements. You can customize it. That is what we did. You're creating an index. Okay.
Yeah, I changed it to cactus, tree, fern, succulent, bush.
Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah, go for it. Okay. So you can do because whatever that suits your project, you can go ahead and customize it. Okay. Then next we talked about how we are converting a list to series. Okay, you are creating a list, then you are passing that list in the PD series, and this here is your series. So here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 because I did not pass the index here. If I am passing the index will be different here. See, I'm passing it here, and you can see it, this one. This is different. So the same list I'm using, but I'm creating my own index here. That's why it is looking little different, because I created the list with an index. Okay. So any questions on this? You can create the series with a list or NumPy array, and we'll go on with other part 2. Any questions so far? Okay, let's move to the next one. So here in this one, I'm creating a series with a date range function. There is a date range function in Panda. With that, you can provide the start date and end date, and it is going to give you the date range. So let's do this. See, this is going, you can create a Panda series just by typing in the start and end of the date range. Okay, you can you can modify whatever, like let's say if you want to generate all the days within a month, you can give your start date as starting of the month and end date is going to be end of the month. Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So we said that series are like one column, right? But then
yes, one
this
column.
one, it has like 4.
Oh, it is one column. See, can you see the command? So it is still a column, one column. It is just going to be in one column. And since there is a no space, you're seeing it's a different, like that. It is a breakdown. Let's do this way. Okay, instead of that, let's see this one. So I'm going to do until 4. Let's do this. See, it is going to be in the same thing. Can you see this one?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So this is how you can create a series of date. Okay. Then we have a different function or different feature in Panda. So when you are going to, let's say there is a null value, you can pass a null value, and because when you're working on data, let me show this data. See, I have null values here. There is no data here. See, can you see this one? There is no data. So Pandas has a feature to handle this null value, and this null value is like it is represented by non, non. It's not like non you are eating, it is non. Okay, so this is, so Panda can handle the null values, and we have a way to replace the null value with different value. There are various features we will be using with null values, because in real life you cannot see all the data available, right? Even when we are working with the goal rate, I think that is another example I want to show you. Right, we were working on the annual goal rate. There were null values for like this period of time. See, we have not, because we don't have the data are not available. So sometimes we may have null values. Those null values, Panda will treat it as like it will. You can see that it is none. Okay, so this is with the null value, and you can also create a series with passing a dictionary. You might have learned the dictionary in Python class, right? So what is a dictionary? Dictionary will have two values, right? Key and value. So this is the key. The key is going to be your index, and this is going to be the value. So when I'm going, let me give this, and we will there. So let me run it. So if you, this is going to be your index. Okay, you can create a series from dictionary, and this is going to be the index, and this is going to be your value. Okay, so you can create a series from a dictionary too. So far we have talked about all series, right? Like just the one dimension. Okay, then we are going to do, we are going to jump to the 2 dimension. Any questions on this one before we move to the 2 dimension? So are you okay with the 1 dimension? So 1 dimension is nothing but this one, right? So you have the index and you will have the values. Okay, this is the 1 dimension. This is the column wise. So it is going to be having only 1 column. Any questions on this one? The ones, a series. Top, where do you want to go? Let me know where do you want to go, friends? Here, okay. What's your question? Oh, this one, this code, okay. I will send you this code. So what we are doing here is we are creating an array, but you need to have this one first. You need to have this one. You need to execute this code before you execute the other one. So first we are creating a NumPy array, and then we are passing the NumPy array to the series. We are creating a series, and this is going to be the index we are going to create with the, like we are going to get with a customized index. So you need to have all this code. Okay, I'm going to paste it again. Okay, so any questions on the series? Can we move to the next part, the 2-dimensional array? Okay, let me move to the 2-dimensional array. So here also what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a NumPy array. First, I'm going to start with a NumPy array with the 2 dimensions. So I'm creating a random numbers and with the dimension of 3 and 2. So 3 rows and 2 columns. Then I'm going to pass that NumPy array to the I'm going to pass the NumPy array to the data frame. See, here I'm creating the data frame. You can see data D and F are capitalized. So make sure you are following the like you need to use the uppercase letter for D and uppercase letter for F, otherwise it is going to fail. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an array, then I'm going to pass it, and I'm going to look at the index and columns. Okay, let's do that. So if you look at that, this is my array. So this array is 2 rows and 3 columns. And the type, if you look at the type, is empty array. Then what I'm doing, I'm passing it to the data frame. And data frame, if you look at that, data frame created an index for me. Okay, it started with 0 and 1 and 2. And if you look at that, this is called this 0, 1 and 2 is the index. This 0 and 1 is the column. Okay, so in data frame, you have 2 types of index. One is the index and the columns, because it is a 2-dimension, right? So it will be like this. Let me go back here. So you will have here. So in Excel, we have like 1, 2, 3. This is the row number. A, B, C is the column. Same thing with data frame. The data frame we created here, it starts with 0, 1, and 2, and the columns are 0, 1, 1. Always the range will start with 0. Okay. And you can customize it. You can customize the column names. You can customize the index. Okay, we are going to talk about it. Any question on this one, like in the 2-dimension array, when we are passing a NumPy array to the data frame, it is creating the index. Okay, so I have this. If you look at that, first I'm asking it to print the data frame. The next I'm asking the code is going to, it is going to print the type. What is the type? So the type is Pandas core frame, data frame. And the next function I'm using is index function. I want to know what is the index. That means it is going to give me the rows. And next I want to know what are the columns. So it is going to give me the columns. Okay. Any questions on that before we move on to customizing our index? So after we created, we are customizing the index. Let's do this. So I gave the code here. So when you're customizing, I want this first column to call it as first and the second column to second. So then if I'm going to run it, see, you can see instead of 0 and 1, it is first and second. And you can access the column just by passing the values. See the second, or you can say 0, 2, df underscore 2d. So you can pass, you want the second one, then it is going to be first, right? So yeah. Okay, something is not right. Let's see. Okay, because it doesn't have the key, we changed it. That's why it is not. Okay. So we are accessing with this one. Yeah, we have one. Let's do here, one moment. Let's go 2D. And I want just the one. If you're not talking, can you put yourself on mute? See, so you can access the index here. So with passing the column number, you can pass it. Let's try the same code here.
How do you know if it's printing the columns or the rows?
Where do you have the question?
Like you said, df 2d of 1. How do you know that's the column value, not the row value?
I think we need to pass this one moment. If it is a 2-dimension, we will be having one more thing. Let's say I think we need to do this way. Right. One moment. So, it is like how we are using the value, how we are passing the values to get the columns and the rows. The same format that will go for array will go here also. We did that, right? I need to recall that. So one moment, let me get that. Yeah, here. I think we use this NumPy like we did. One moment, where is that? Yeah, here. So the same way, indexing and slicing, the same thing, whatever we use, the same thing we will be using in Pandas. That's why we started with NumPy. So if you, the first one will be the rows and the next one will be the columns, and you need to
Because
specify.
that one, to my understanding, it just prints the 0th element to the second, to the second element, or like whatever it is, but it's still in the same row.
No, we started with this 2-dimension, right? Here, see, here. Can you see this one? So this is how you specify you want the whole thing or just the whole rows or whole columns, or you just want the particular element. So if you don't have this symbol, see this one, this is a colon, it is going to give the element. If it is 3 and 4, it is going to give the element. If you want the whole thing, you will be passing this colon.
Oh, okay. So the one that we did right now,
that is just the element, just an element. Yeah, you're right. It is just an element. Let me open that. Yeah, we will be accessing it later. Now, what I want to emphasize now is just how you can pass the values to get it. That is what we are trying to get it here.
Okay, so right now we were just like accessing,
like whether we can access with the alphabet, like if you're customizing the index, can we get that customized index? So let me run it again. Sometimes it may, okay. So let's go back here. So right now, the point we are making here is you can create an index, customized index, and you can pass a customized index to access it. That is what we are trying to make. When we are accessing the particular element, we will be working on that. I will show that one. Okay. So are you good?
Can I have the accessing column code?
Okay, this one?
No, the one right after that.
This one?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. One moment. Yeah. So are you good? Then we'll go to the next one, how you can create a data frame from the dictionary. So I think we already did that, but this is with the multi-dimensional. Here we have like 2-dimension, right? We already did that dictionary, created a series with a dictionary, right? Here in this code. If you recall this one, we created a series with a dictionary. Here we are going to create that data frame from the dictionary. Okay, let me send you this code. So we can create a dictionary and we can pass it to the data frame and we can create it. This is another way of creating the dictionary. And or if you want, you can create create two arrays, and one array with the values, the other array with the column names, and you can pass it on. That is the other way you can create a data frame. Let me get this one. And yeah, so what we are doing here is we are creating the data with a numpy array, and we are creating a list with column names. And when we are creating a data frame, we are passing the values. Data is going to be my data, and the column is going to be my column names. And when you are creating the data frame, you can create like this too. Okay. So here the column names you are passing it. This is the column headers you are passing it. You can also do it here itself, like what we did here. Like you can do that there, but here we are creating an array. Sorry, this one is a list. We are creating a list and passing the list within the data frame to create a data frame. Are you good with this one? This is little maybe confusing when you first start, but this concept is really important because we will be using this again and again going forward. Like when we are analyzing the data, we will be using this. So let me restate it. First, we are creating a NumPy array. And if you see, the NumPy array is like we have a two-dimensional array. And then we are creating a list with the name of the columns. And when I'm creating a data frame, I'm passing the data and I'm passing the column names. So when I'm passing the values within this tuple, see, this is a tuple, right? When I'm passing the values within the tuple, I'm creating a data frame. Yeah, this collab will be posted. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Are you good with this? Can we move on to the next session? Okay, let's move on. The next one is how you're going to import a file. So let's go back to the presentation here and I will talk about that. So you can have a different data sources to work with Pandas. It can be any flat file like CSV, Excel, or anything like, or you can use JSON, HTML, or you can use a binary files or relational databases like SQL, Oracle, or any databases. So you have a different data sources and the input and output. So whenever you're going to read anything to Panda, you will be using this function, read underscore. And if you want to create an output, if you want to create an Excel file from your Panda, or if you want to create an JSON, or if you want to create something output, you will have this two as the code. So when you read the data, you'll be using the read function. When you're going to give an output, it is going to be two. Okay, so and the Pandas will support all these. You can use a CSV, XLS, or in any type of data, and you can create a data frame and you can analyze it, and you can create an output in any way you want. Okay, this is the more powerful because it accepts many input sources. Like you have a variety of input sources and it supports a variety of output source. Okay, for reading anything, you will be using the read function, and for any output, you will be using this to function. Any questions on this before we dive into how we are going to read a CSV file? Okay, let's go back here. So here, what I'm doing is I'm like last in the NumPy also, I did the same thing. I have this code. This code is going to give me an option to choose the file, whatever the file that I have in my desktop or anything in my, whatever I have in my computer, I can browse to it and I'm going to use that. Okay, and so this is also, let me give that and we will go one code at a time. Okay. So first I'm going to choose the file. So for that, I'm importing this module, file module, and I'm going to choose the file. Okay, I'm going to choose the train file that I already have. And if you want, you can have the same file. I will tell you where you can get it. Oh, one moment, let me get that and the train open. So I have this file. So if you want this, I got this file from Kaggle. And in Kaggle, let me give you the link for Kaggle. Okay, and I was using the WDIS. That is my. Okay, I think this one. Not WDS. Okay, I will look for data set here, WDIS. Or you can use any data. That is my sample data that I have used, but you can use any data. Okay. So WDS 2022, I was using the 2022 WDS. So I have the data here. This is the samples. So if you look at that, this is what I used. So I downloaded this train CSV and I chose, like, it is a huge file. I don't want the whole thing to show it is going to hang up. So I just chose like 400 or 500 records out of that. And I'm using that as my demo file today. But feel free to use any data set that you have, and you just need to manipulate the code here and there to get what you need. Okay. So this is what I used, and what I'm going to do is, let me go to collab here. And I chose the file. So then I'm going to import it. Okay, let me import it. So when I'm going to import it, so let's do the whole thing. Or you can get it from your Google Doc or whatever you want, you can just do that. But this is the CSV file that I'm going to use. Okay, so first I'm going to check this one. Okay, so as I mentioned already, this is the function to read, like read underscore. See this one, read underscore. And it depends, like if you are going to have CSV, it is CSV. If it is going to have a different, like Excel or JSON or HTML, you're going to pass the value accordingly. Okay, and let me show you that. Nadhiya equal to ed dot read. See, you can have all these values. You can read from your clipboard, you can read from CSV, Excel, all these data sources you can read. So it is a wide, it supports a wide variety of input sources. So I'm going to read the CSV, okay? So I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to read the CSV, but I don't want to see everything. I want to see only the top 5 rows. I want to get a feel about that. I want to know what it is. If I'm going to load everything, it is going to be the whole thing. Let's load both a whole thing, then we can do that. One moment. Let's do that too. Dear. PD dot read. I'm just passing the path here. Okay, I'm going to comment this. Let's see the difference. So when I'm going to just read the path, it is going to get everything. See, I have like, it is showing the first 4 rows and the last 4 rows. So I have like 379 rows in my data set, and all the columns are also listed. So if I'm going to read everything, it is going to read everything. Let's say I want to read only top 5 rows. I want to just get a feel about the data. So then you can pass how many rows you want. Okay. When I'm passing it, it is going to just read the first 5 rows. You can see the index. Index is starting with 0, then it goes until 4. I need only 4, like 5 rows. See, if you see, it has 5 rows and 64 columns. So it has 64 columns, right? Do I need everything? I don't know. So let's say I'm going to comment this and I can pass that. See, let's say if I'm going to pass, and here the index, if you see the index, it is 0, 1, 2, 3. The data frame creates the index. But I want to create, I have already, if you look at the train database, I have my index already here. The building ID is already there. Somewhere here. Where is my ID? It is BL. One. So it's here. See, the ID is already here. I want to use this as my index because I don't want a Panda to create its own index. So I'm going to ask Panda to use this ID as the index. So this is my code. So what I'm doing is I'm going to read CSV and I'm passing the path. I want only 5 rows. And the index column is going to be the ID. Okay. I want the index, the Pandas to use this ID as my index column, not to create 0, 1, 2, 3. If you see you have the ID here, I want this ID to be used as my index. So I'm passing it and I'm asking it to give only these columns. I don't want all the columns. Let's see, I want only the ID, the floor area, and the state factor. So let's see, let's run the code and see the difference. See, it is going to give just this. So you can read whatever you want from the CSV. You don't need everything. You can control what you read from your input with this code. Okay. And let's see here, I'm creating a variable. So the columns, see the columns here, I see only 3, right? Let's say I want many columns, like out of 64, I want 10 or 20. I can create a value, a variable called columns to use, and I can pass that. Otherwise, this code is going to be getting messy. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a variable columns to use, and I'm passing that variable here. And I'm going to run this code and you will see it is going to give all these columns. Okay. So you can manipulate what you want, like how you want. Here, I want to input everything. I'm not, so if you look at this code, I am not saying how many rows I need. I need all the rows. So it is going to give me all my 380 rows with 5 columns. And if you see the ellipses, this three dot, that means there is a data in between, because when it is going to display, it will not display the whole thing. So it is going to show the ellipses stating that there is a data in between that first five and the last five columns. Any questions on how we are going to import the data and how we can control the columns, rows, and we can control the index while we are creating a data frame from the CSV file?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
When I said open train.csv, it just said that I didn't have it yet. Like I haven't specified what train.csv is. So how do I fix that?
Do you have that where you have the strain.dsv? You don't have the file in your desktop?
Oh no, let me quickly upload that.
Yeah, you need to have a file, right? And you need to choose the file, whatever the file you have in the desktop, choose the file, then you will import it. Because I have this file in my desktop or in my computer, I'm using it. If you don't have it, you won't be able to use it, right? So create a file, or you can just create a file with Excel or Google Sheet and get that CSV. Then you can go ahead and import it to Pandas data frame.
Okay.
Can you all try with your own file? Like you're going to create a CSV. You can have a CSV file or Excel file in your desktop, and you're going to import it to data frame. Can you all do that?
Visa,
Yeah. Yes, Balaji.
most of the students may be using Chromebook.
Chromebook. Okay.
Yeah, that probably may limit their ability to save. They may be able to, but that's one thing we may have to think about. If they're
Okay.
using the laptop, just like the way you are using, probably saving it to desktop or saving it from their laptop, uploading files from the laptop into this will work. Otherwise, they may have to use the
Google Sheet, right?
Yeah.
Google Sheet.
Google Sheet.
Last week itself, I think you showed how to use the Google Sheet, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Last week itself you showed them how to get the Google Sheet and get that to collab. Can you upload the file? I don't know how I can upload the file. It doesn't it doesn't Kaggle. So if you go to like in any train data, you can get that. It is not just this one. See, I can give you this link. Okay, you can download the data here. See the train data. You can download it and see download, and you can save it in your see wherever you want. You can save it, or you can save it in your Google Sheet and get the data from Google Sheet. See, it is here. But what's the problem with this data is it is too big. So what I did, let me close this one. So just for the demo purpose, what I did, I just deleted few columns from the few rows from here. Not few, it's a lot. I deleted, like I have only like 300 to 400 records in my data set right now. I think it is still opening. So you can download the data from Kaggle. Okay. See, I have, it is about 75,000 records. It is good when you're working on a real project. And oh, okay, let's see. Okay, classic tenors. So Prince Center, and I like one another data set that Kavin Karthikeyan recommended. That is a good one too. That is also a small data set. So you can use any data set, like see here tenors. You can just use the data set, and you can try to import. We have the homework same thing for that. So I think I have So I think the Sri Lankan home price, right? Kavin again. I think you sent that one. That was
Yeah.
a really good data set that I like how they analyzed it. That is another one. And for homework, I think we'll be using this data set. Yeah, for homework, this is the data set we'll be using. So you have a multiple data set in Kaggle. Feel free to get some data and load to your what do you call it? Load to your Google Sheet or to your CSV and start working on it. Do you need help with the Google Sheet? How like if you don't have the CSV option, do you still need help with the Google Sheet, like how to import the data to from Google Sheet to Collab? If you need help, I can assign someone to help you. Otherwise, we'll continue the class. Do you all want to try to import your own file, and do you have your own file here? Okay, then I think we can continue. Okay, let's start with this one. So we already have the data, right? After getting the data, if you want to know just the top 10 records, so you like the what is the top records, you can pass it, like you can pass it. And if you want 5 records, you can ask for 5 records, whatever records you want, in order to just give a feel up to get the feel about the data, you can pass it, and that way you can access the header rows. And if you want the tail means the bottom. If you want to see the last few rows, you can just do that like tail. Head is for the top and the tail is for the end. Okay. And then you can find the length of the rows, like how many rows you have. This len function will tell you how many rows you have in the data set. And we have the column function. This column function is going to give you the columns. What are the columns you have in the data set? And do you remember, like in our first class or second class, we used Excel or Google Sheet to describe the data? It gave the time, like minimum, maximum, and it gave the count, and it gave all those values, the descriptive statistics. You can get just with the describe function. So when you df dot describe, it is going to give how, like what is the count, what is the mean for that particular value, what is the standard deviation, minimum value, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, and maximum. So you can use this describe function to describe your data. So if you, I think I have, yeah, Pandas doc, right? I think let's go back to the first one here. So when you go here, it is going to give you everything, like how you can do. See, this is what we did, right? The object creation, and then you can talk about like how you can view the data, like the head, tail, and the describe. Everything is here. So I'm just covering. It is a lot. I will not be able to cover everything in 2 sessions. So that's why I'm giving you the link for you to explore. Okay. Any issues so far, like any questions you want me to stop, or you want me to redo anything, any of the topic? You want to take?
Mine isn't working. Like I tried using the gold values file, and it says that there's no columns to parse from file.
Okay, let's do that. The gold price, right? You use the gold price, right? Let's do that again here. So you use this, the annual gold price, right? That's the one we used. Okay, let's do that. And I'm going to get this. So I'm going to pass this value here. And this is not the columns, right? Because gold value has a different columns, right? It is not the same column. So, okay, let me just do this. Okay, so I'm going to do this, the whole thing. For the gold, I'm going to get the whole thing. So I'm going to just read and get that whole thing. So when I read it, it is going to give me this value, see? Okay, see a date, USD, Euro, GBP, INR, AD, and so if it is a null value, see, Pandas is assigning non value. So this is for the, so here you need to specify what columns you want. That's why maybe you don't have this. So here, if you want to do this, so what are the columns you want to use for this data set? Let's say you want to use the date. So, and it is case case sensitive. So if you have date in D is capital, you need to use the same thing here. Okay. So I'm going to say USD and I want Euro.
For me, it doesn't print out like that. This is like the index values, and then it says like ID and site AUI, and it doesn't say like the date USD or like anything.
No. Are you, which file you are using? Are you using the annual gold rate or the train data set?
The annual gold rate.
Okay, annual gold rate. So are you, when you do this annual gold rate, do you see this, like this is the column header?
Like in the actual file, I do see that, but when I try to print it, it doesn't do that.
Okay, do you mind sharing your screen and we can troubleshoot?
Okay, it just says that a disabled participant screen sharing though.
Give me a moment, let me get this. Something is, let me get this going. This is, oh, I have the DF here itself. One moment, let me get this. Let me fix this. Yeah, this is good. So I'm going to make like share and okay. Now you can share. I pass my share. Do you want to share your screen and we can troubleshoot?
Okay. Just says you can't share while the other participant is sharing.
Oh, how about now? Can you try?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me that. So you are using the DS string file.
Oh, it's the gold rates file. I just renamed it as this one.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So you are, can you run it again? Let's see. It says ID and UI, right? Yeah.
This one?
DS string. Yeah, run it. Yeah, the second code. Yeah, but it is still getting the I because DS string 2022 5 CSV. Can you open that file? Okay. Can you save and close this one? And let's see. Save this one. I'm not sure whether it is saved. And let's do that again. Yeah. Yes. And yeah, it's okay. And let's do the first one again because you need to choose that file. Okay. Now Yeah, it is still coming as old one. Okay. You have two files. It says like two, right? Saving DS Spring file to DS Spring 2 CSV. We have two files with the same name, like 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Whoops.
can you delete that and let's do that again?
Okay.
Yeah. And start from the scratch. Do you want to start from the scratch and get that file? Whatever the file that you're working on, okay. Okay, now do this one. Okay, right now you can see everything, right? So line number 9, if you see line number 9 in this code column to use, change whatever column from this file, okay? Then you can execute line number 9 and 10, and you can comment on line number 4. That will give you whatever you want from this file, okay?
I would change this
Yeah,
to like these.
yeah, whatever you want. Do you want everything? You want only, or if you want just two columns, let's just do it. Can you comment on line number 4? Line number 4?
Okay.
Because yeah, we don't need that one for now. Okay, run it right now. What? No, 10. Sorry, you need to comment that and comment the 10 also. Yeah, run it. Okay, PD dot read. ID,
This one.
yeah, ID, take that ID out because we don't have ID in this file. So for each and every file, it is unique. You can take that index column ID, take that one out. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, now run it. See, what you have done is you have opened the file and you imported only two columns, whatever the columns you need. So you can control whatever the columns, like how many rows you want, by passing the values when you're reading the CSV file.
Okay.
So are you good?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, okay. So I think it is the time to take a break. Let's take a break and we will come back at 11:10. And then we will. Okay, I think we can start.
We can't hear you very well.
You can hear it.
Like it's really soft.
So where are we now? So are you able to get your file inside your collab, and you are able to get the data inside the collab?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. Then I'm going to share the screen. So when you have the data inside, you can just talk about, like, when you want the top 5 records, you can go for df.head, and you want the bottom record, you can go for the df.tail. And if you want to know how many records, you can use the len function. That will give you how many records were in the data frame. And you can use the column function, and this will tell you what are the columns that you have inside the data frame. And you can also describe the data. So like Excel, we did the describe rate, count, mean, median, standard deviation. So you can describe the data just by using the describe function. And the shape, it is going to give you the number of rows and number of columns. And then you can run the data type. It is going to tell what, like, how many data types are within the data frame. It is going to tell you that. And this one, unique function. See this unique function,
you can use that unique function to get the unique items in the column. So this will be different for your data set, right? You need to know what, this is the column name, you're passing the column name, and you're passing the function, unique function. So it depends on your data set, whatever the data set you have, you can get the unique values inside the particular column. For example, here what we have done here is, I want to know what are the unique columns here in the building class, right? So this is the building class. I need to know what are the unique columns. I have like commercial and residential. And if I want for the different columns, like if you want to get that for this column, you will get for you need to pass the column value here. What are the column value you need to pass, and you can get the unique values. And the min and max, same thing. You need to pass the column value and min function. The min function is going to give the minimum value, and the max function is going to give you the maximum value. So these are all the things that you can use to wrangle the data. Okay, all these like you can use your the min, max, you can use the unique, describe. This is how you're going to get the data, like what data you have, like all the data sets, you can do that. So here I'm going to redo this one because here I use the different path, right? So I'm going to comment on this one. And I want my train data because all my data I have is based on the train data. So I'm going to reload the train here. And here import path, and this is the path. So it is not reading the path. Oh, because I don't have this column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this one, because my data set is different right now. So this will not work. So I have this. So let's do this again. What's happening here? The train. Oh, okay, the path. I don't have the path here. So it is going to be train. So I have my path, I'm passing my path. So this one, I don't need it. I'm going to comment it. So I'm passing the path and I'm just getting these two, but I want everything, right? So I don't want to just have those two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment it, and I want the whole data. So this is my whole data. I'm not filtering or anything. I'm just getting everything, all the columns and all the rows. So it is going to have 64 rows and all my columns. So now I'm going to get the header. It is going to give the top 5. And when I run the tail, it is going to get the the bottom 10. And length is going to be my length, and columns. See, it is going to list all 64 columns. Because I'm getting everything. I'm not limiting myself in importing. I'm getting everything. And this one, it is going to describe all the columns. It is going to give me the count, mean, median, standard deviation, and that all the 25th, 50th, and 75th percentile. And this is going to give me the shape, D dot shape, and types. This is kind of unique here. So if you look at that, it is giving me the type, and you still see this one, right? You still see the 3 dot, right? That means some of the objects are not showing here. Okay, there is the object in between both. And we have like integer type 64 object are the visible items here. And when you are going to filter for a data set, you can just filter for, like here we are getting only that particular column names, right? You can also do by the object type. What it does is going to do is it is going to give you the object, whatever the object is, like whatever the column is object, that means the string it is going to give, And if I'm going to pass the float, it is going to give what the uh, yeah, I think Darren, I think you're right. 64 is maximum of 64 digits. So if you're going to give the data type as float, you can just select whatever that has the float values. Okay, so this is how you can select the columns based on the data type. Okay, here if you look at this data, see this is float, right? Because it has the value. So you can specify in Panda, you can say you want just the float. So when you're specifying it, it is going to give you anything with a decimal value in your output. Okay, so you can filter your Pandas based on your data type. So this is the way you can do by the data. So you're going to use this code like select D types, and you're going to pass the data types here, and it is going to give you only the data with that particular data type. Okay, and what else I have? And you can filter. Let's say if you want to filter the data for a particular value, you can filter it. So what I'm saying is my DF7, I'm creating a new data frame. My new data frame is going to be DF2, and I'm only for this factor, like I want only the state factor that is going to be state 1. So when I'm going to run it, it is going to give all the values where it is going to be only state 1. So it is something like this here, like I want only state 1. So if I'm going to get only the state 1, this is going to be my values. I'm going to get 56 records, including that. So it is going to be 55 records. Okay. So you will get the shape. See, it is 20. It is going to be, because my data set is different here, right? So I'm getting 20 rows and 3 columns. Let's go to that original data set I used, not this one. I don't want this. This is the data set I used. I want to show you that. And yeah, this one, this train data. So here I want to filter for only state 1. So how many records I have? Only 20, right? Let me see, only this. So only 20. So that is what I got it from Panda, because that is the record I imported. So I have only 20 records. So you can do filter based on a column, and you can specify what value you want to see within that column. Okay, this is how you are filtering based on the column and based on a value. And if you want to do a count, let's say you want to do a count, you can do the count. It is like getting like how many records are, so I want within this DF7, I want how many are with the facility type. You can count by each and every group. So you can, this is how, so this 20 records, out of this 20 records, this is my new data frame, right? This is going to be my new data frame. Here, I want to count by the facility type, the state factor and the building class. I want to categorize, I want to group by that. So it is going to give that group by option. It is just like your group by in or you can do the count function in Excel. Like you can count how many records were there for the particular type. You can use that same function here, the group by function. And yeah, this one I think we will be doing next class. I want to continue this, and I want to show you this. This is a little cool thing that I really liked it. What it is going to do is it is going to give you a heat map. So it is going to compare the value, and if it is a blank value, it is black. And for the highest value, the color is different. for the lowest value, the color is different. Within that data frame, you can see that. Let me send you this. And you can change the color and you can see this. So this is just to visualize the data in, one moment. It is going to just visualize the data to give what value it is. So you can do the same thing for your data set. Only thing is you need to change the data set here, like whatever, yeah, you can do any colors. So blue, red, right? Let's do this one, greens. But you need to call this one, you need to call in a specific way, otherwise it will not work. So it is doing any greens, blue. So for the colors, we will be doing later in the later class. So you can modify it, and this will give you the heat map of what the data is going to look like. So the minimum value is going to be white and the maximum value is going to be the dark. And the null value is going to be this black. So what we are going to do is, this is just about how we are going to analyze the data. I think it is a good time to talk about the homework, because the homework is based on whatever we did today. Okay, let me go to the homework. Oh, code for D2, D3. Oh, where is my D2 and D3? Give me a moment, friends. Let me look for that. Yeah, D2. Yeah, D2 and D2. See, this is my. So what I'm doing in D2 and D3, I'm filtering the code based on the data type. So that is what I did, D2 and D3. So I have after this data frame, I created other data frames also. Just for each and everything, I'm creating a data frame. So D7 is going to be, I'm filtering. It is just to show you how the data is going to look different for each and every category, okay? So let's go to the homework. Okay. The reason why I want to discuss the homework is I want to give you the expectations, and based on the expectations, I want the result. Okay. The first one is you're going to use this data. I think this is going to be what other line? Yeah. So this is going to be the data that you're going to use for your homework. Okay. I'm pinging you. So if I go here, it is also getting data from Kaggle, okay? You're getting data. Let me go here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get the data. See, you're going to get the data downloaded to your system, and you're going to load to your Panda. Okay, you're going to load to your Panda, and then see, you can download it here. See, there is an option. See, when you go to this link, and this is the place you can download this. You can download it. Once you get the download, you can either use your CSV file, and if you're using Google Chrome, use the Google Doc, Google Sheet. And you have this data, right? And you're going to analyze this data. And what you need to do is, you're going to tell me this. So you're going to import the data using Pandas. You're going to describe the data, and you're going to find the columns, and you're going to find the shape and the data type. And you're going to find out how many frequent flyers are there. Okay, you're going to find it. And frequent flyers, if you look at that, the frequent flyers, if it is yes, means they are frequent flyer. If it is no, means they are not a frequent flyer. So just you need to count for this column how many yeses are there, okay, in the code. Then you're going to find the min and max of the annual income. So the annual income is going to be here. You're going to find the min and max, okay, for this column. Then you're going to find how many private sector employees took travel insurance. So if you look at that, the how many private sector employees, this employees took the travel insurance. The travel insurance 0 means they did not take the insurance. 1 means they took the insurance. So you're going to find how many private sector employees took the travel insurance. So you do everything using Pandas. Okay, that is the first part. Any questions on that one?
Yeah, I just have one question.
Yes.
It's just something I like you when you were saying this, you kind of broke out. That's why I'm asking again. So how do you like take like specific like indexes, like say like you have like the whole table and then you need only like one row or like one column? What would you have to do?
Yes, that one we are going to talk about next week.
Okay, got it.
All the locations. So whatever we learned today is just to describe the data, how you're going to describe the location. So this one we are going to talk about next week. I don't think I will be able to cover everything because I have a few more things to cover. So that's why I skipped this part. Okay. We are going to talk about the slicing up the data next week. For this week, I want you to just like input the data, describe the data, find the column shape. So these are the items you are going to do. Okay.
Okay, got
Okay.
it.
Next week, we will be talking about slicing and we'll be talking about advanced function. For now, we are going to just do the basic thing. Okay. Then the next one is, the first one is the data set I'm providing, right? The next one, I want you to explore any of the competition in Cali, any data set or the competition. And you're going to download the data and you're going to describe, find the column, shape, and data type for that data choice of your own. You're going to choose your own data and you're going to explore it. You're going to explain what you have done for that. Please add comments whenever you're working on the Pandas. Please, like any coding, just please add comments, whatever you're doing. In that way only we'll be able to validate your work. Okay. The next one is you're going to do some exercise. Yeah, go ahead.
So for number 2, when it says describe the data, what do you want us to do for that?
Describe, there is a function for describe, right? There is a code. See, for describing, we did the code. So you're going to just, it's a one-line code. It is not the big deal. See, this is the describing data. df.describe. So when you do that, what it is going to give you is you're going to get a count, mean, median, standard deviation, everything. It is going to give a descriptive statistics of the data set that you are working on.
And another thing,
so you're going to write. Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing I just want to clarify. So when we're doing NumPy, we had to put the acronym NP before we did whatever function, like NP.arrange. So in this case, would it be DF? Would be like
DF? Yeah, DF is the data frame.
Okay, got it.
So, and you can call it anything. See, what we are doing here is, let me show you here. Okay. So here we are calling as DF, right? This is the way we start. See, we start with pd.read. So we are reading that in a path and we are creating a data frame. So it is there. So the DF, you can call it any name.
Got it.
So this is the name of the data set, whatever the data set you are using. So pd.dataset.csv, it is going to read to your data frame. But if you're going to, so this is going to read to the data frame itself directly, okay? That's why you're, whenever you're referring in the following, we are just using df. See, print df, all the items, df, see df.head. So because that's a name you used when you created the data frame. So this is the name of this data frame. You can call it as anything you want. Okay, it is the variable you're passing.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, good. So you are going to describe, you're going to find the columns, you're going to find the shape and the data type. And if you want, you can explain what you have done in few words, like after seeing the count, min, and maximum. If you see anything, you can write up, you can write kind of 2 or 3 sentences. It is optional, okay? Then I want you to complete the exercises here. So because the time that we are spending is really less, right? Yeah, for extra credit, you can talk about that, how you're going to, what you learn from that, you can talk about it. And so this one, if you go to this link, it is going to give you the user guide for Panda. What I want you to do is, I want you to do all the exercise until this one. See, from object creation, viewing, grouping, reshaping, timeframes, categorical, whatever you can do, please do until this one. Okay, we are going to talk about this. So that is the other assignment. So you're going to do everything. See, all these exercises. Any questions on the homework? Okay. So I'm still seeing people are giving the collab link that is not viewable or that is not shared with us. I'm seeing still, I'm not able to validate your homework if you're doing like that, okay? So when you're going to share your collab, I'm going to show you one more time here. When you're going to share this, I'm going to share this with you all. So when you're going to share it, share the notebook. And what you're going to use is, you're going to get like change to anyone with the link, because I don't have time to ask your permission to get this access. So what you're going to do is, you're going to change to anyone with the link, and you're going to copy the link, and it is going to be viewer. I don't want editor or comment. It's just, you can be, so I can view your code. So this is going to be view, and copy the link and paste it in the PDF. Okay, I do not, like 2 or 3, I'm still seeing the same issue. I'm not able to access your collab. Please share like this. Okay, share anyone with the link. Okay, so that's about the homework. Any questions on the homework before we move to the next agenda item? Okay, let's move on. And yes, for the quiz today, how do you pronounce your name? Can you pronounce your name, please? Litika? No, I don't think so, right? Can you pronounce your name?
It's Lakitha.
Likita. Okay, Likita. Likita and Kavin Karthikeyan, good job on the quiz. Good job. And let's review the quiz. And where is the quiz? Okay, quiz. Okay, I have only 5 questions today. Because I want to do one more item. That's why I want time for that. So I'm going to I cut short this quiz. So what is the answer for the first one? What is the use of zeros function in NumPy array in Python? What is the answer? Yes, it is B, to make a matrix with all elements 0. So if you want diagonal element of 0, what you will do? There is another function, right? If you just want the diagonal element of 0. I don't think you will be able to see the answers. I don't think we have that ability yet. So if you want to get the matrix with all diagonal elements 0, you will be using I function. Okay, and what will be the output for this one? Okay, it is C, because the start is 2 and it needs to end before 8. So this is going to be 7, and the stepping value is 1. So it is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C is the right answer. Okay, what does the word appending means? Okay, answer is correct. A, adding something extra. Okay, you are adding something like you may have that set of data. You're going to add another set of data on top of it. So adding something, appending is adding something. And when you're going to, what is this one? Then gets printed when we run two statements, np array print and dimension. What dimension is this? Yeah, answer is B. So it's a one dimension array, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is just one dimension, so it is going to be 1. Okay, this is the question I think a lot of people were tricked off. We use NumPy array for more efficient appending, insertion, deletion of the elements. Is that true or false? What is the answer for this one? It is false. It is not true. The reason why is we are not using NumPy for that reason. The reason why we are using NumPy is the element operation, the element-wise operations is really fast. That's why we use NumPy array. So I think this is the question kind of like a trick to everyone. So any questions on the quiz before we move on? Okay, then let's move on. Excuse me. So I want to recognize these people who did really good on their homework. Gayatri, Eddie, Kavin Karthikeyan, Karan Logesh, Prince, Varsha, and Rohan. Good job on your homework, guys. And Prince, I want to give extra recognition because what you're doing is you're writing the code and you're explaining why we are doing it, why it will work, why it may not work. This is the way to learn. So it is really good what you're doing. And this is the link Kavin Karthikeyan shared. This is about the price indication, like it's about the predictions of Sri Lanka home prices, and the code whatever they gave is really good. Like you can look into the data set and you can look into the code how they have written. See, each and every code they have the comment. Can you see this? So have this good practice of adding comments on your code. That is going to be a good practice in long run also. Okay. So I want to share this data set with you, whatever he gave. So you can explore this. This is a good data set, a small one that we can use to like, you can try this one. Oh, it's not small one. It has like 15,000 records. That's fine. 15,000 records and 17 columns. And these are the column. You see, they are talking about the info. It is going to give you everything about the column, how many count, is there any null count. So this is the way you explore more code and expose yourself to data analysis. Okay, now this is the time for last week's homework presentation. I mentioned in the last week, you will be asked randomly to present your homework, right? Anyone want to volunteer? Anyone want to talk about your last week homework and how you analyzed your Kaggle data set? That's not like whatever data set you chose. Anyone want to step up? Or I can call anyone randomly. So I believe in the homework, I said I'm going to call anyone to present your work. Anyone you want to volunteer? Come on, guys. That's why I saved this 10 minutes. I want to just check how how you're presenting. I want to know how you did the homework. Can we do random?
I'll let
who want to go?
Kevin.
Oh, you want to go? Okay, yeah. You can take a stab at it. Yeah. You want to present the screen? I can stop sharing and you can start share your screen. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. One second.
Yeah, sure.
It's gonna take me a minute.
Next week also we'll do the same thing. We'll be asking someone to present. So if you want to volunteer, please get ready and keep all the documents ready. Otherwise, I will choose someone to what will be present, like, yeah, whatever you find and whatever you did for your homework. And if you're working with any data set, a specific data set, I want to talk about it, because we have like 20 people, right? Each one will have a different data sets, right? So I want to check on the data set you used. Or if you want to present about any other libraries, that is good too. If you want to explore any of the Python library and you want to present, that is good too. Go ahead, Kevin. I will mute myself.
I just want to clarify, can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I can, so I'll start. So do I just have to share my the Kaggle one, or do I have to share like my whole one?
Whatever you want to do. It's open forum for you.
Okay. So let me just jump in right to what you guys might think that is interesting. So
Kevin, we are seeing your Agora Math Cycle website screen. Is it in your other screen, or you want to share this Agora Math Cycle website screen?
Wait, it looks it's telling me that I'm sharing my collab screen. Oh gosh. Okay. I think I can. Okay, yeah. Can you see it now? Oh wait, what?
You closed it.
Yeah. Okay, now it's here. Okay, yeah. Do you see it now?
Oh yeah, we can see your collab. Yeah, good.
Okay.
We can see it.
So,
Go ahead.
so the Kaggle data set that I analyzed was called Predictions of Sri Lankan House Prices. And what this person did was he took data from a particular from many resources, and he used like he used factors of correlation and causation to a graph, and eventually he turned those graphs into algorithms, which translated into like estimated prices for houses. So just to get a better visual of the thing, yes, it's getting into the, yeah. So here it is. So like I told you, like I explained, like there, it's shown in my mini paragraph. He imported a lot of data manipulation softwares, not just NumPy. He used Pandas, Matplotlib, and all other and Seaborn. So these are like the things he used. And so like we learned, this is the data file he inputted. So it is it has four indexes, and has has like 14 to 15 like columns, like index at the top. So first, so these are all like the total values he has right here. It says 15,327. So these are like the thing. And then we explored in this class, this person listed out all the data types, and all the objects that were inside each column. And these are just some like specifics on what this is. And so this is where he starts to starts to like sort everything out, which it can be seen here as he's sorting it out through things such as causation and correlation, such as price, house size, land size, and he's making sure that they're all like the same. They're similar. He's making sure that they're in the similar data type, and then he continues to do that, and then as he continues, here is where he starts to describe the data, and this in this description, it starts getting the causation and all these statistics overall help him to create this graph, which is which is all like this includes the home the places where homes sell the most, where the highest value homes are located, and other stats related to like location, not really like price specific. Just so you can see it clearly, he put like the highest repeated locations, highest being in Pilayandala, Colombo. And he continues, and this is his first graph of correlation, because it's the relation between numbers and bath prices. So as you can see in this graph, the price of the thing is directly correlated to the number of bathrooms there are. As you can see through like the blue and red lines, which indirectly state that the number number of bathrooms fluctuates the price of the house. So he continues, and now this is the second graph he does. Instead of bathrooms, he uses beds on this one, which can be seen through the blue lines and the red lines. And you might be wondering what the faded red part is. The faded red part is like the exceptions to that price, depending on like area, like places where they are and stuff like that. So that's what the faded red part is. Other than that, the red line is the direct correlation between bedrooms and bathrooms. The thing about this graph is that you can see that the beds, 8-bedroom is like the highest, where like the premium goes to the highest. But usually we think that the higher the bedroom, the more bedrooms, the more price. But in this case, 8 is the favored number, which means that the prices are at a premium high for 8 bedrooms. And so he continues to continue that price. And here is where he starts bringing it, where it starts like getting like a little more complex, because now he's not now it's starting to become a matrix where he's using all 3 values to predict a price. So it now here it's a 2-dimensional graph, meaning that it's only affected by 2 values, but here it's affected by 3 values. First being the house size of how much and then there's the price, and then there's a vertical, like the height size, or like the size like the total like volume of the house, which can be seen at the bottom, and the top, the height is representing like the height value of the house. The red and blue dots represents members and premium members. As in, premium members represent people who are going for people who are very specific on their searching, and members are just people who just search for houses. And he continues to analyze the locations and stuff, and then this is like the most important code that he has, because this is the code that eventually creates this picture, which is the overall like this is like a visual representation of which which areas in Sri Lanka have the most increased prices of homes, which can be seen, like represented before, during with the percentage. It can be seen through Palyanda, Colombo. Like the Palyanda Colombos are and Malabes are more greater in font than the other ones, which he coded it to be, because he's including, because the value of the houses there directly, directly coded them to increase the size of the letters or the words that are there. So the higher the value of the houses in that area, the bigger the words tend to be, which is a visual. And then there's also another visual that he has. And yeah, so then he continues on his visuals, and then this is his. Eventually, this is his map, or this is what he used to, like, this is like the general area he used, and this is the final thing he came up with, which is the here the first are the percentages of what which places have the most highest value homes, and these are the approximated um values of houses. These are in scientific notation. So if you guys don't know what scientific notation is it's technically in a notation where it's more simplified than, in this case, this would be 9 million 27 million rupees, and he wrote that as to 9 E, because E represents value of 3 point something, or like 2 point something. So you multiply it with 9 and then you add it. So it's just like a more simple form of, in the millions. These houses are in the millions and then so eventually what he comes to learn is that in Sri Lanka, the prices are mostly increasing because of the area, and not because of how big the houses are, because some houses are in like are really big, but in areas where they're not like really populated, and meaning that like there's not a lot of like economy there. So that's why the houses in a city, the value of smaller houses are sometimes bigger than values of larger houses, because of economy of that location. That's what he's saying. And then this is another model that he did for like predicting the future prices. So this is like another rundown of like what he did to another correlation versus causation graph and everything. And then he continues to do all those things, and then eventually he ended up with this graph, which is the algorithm that so this is like a testing. This graph shows the accuracy versus the algorithm. So how accurate the algorithm is, and according to this graph, the algorithm's accuracy is really high compared when it's come to like when it comes down to very like economy dense places, but when it comes to like economy less dense places, it's kind of dipping. And yeah, that's all I got for the Kaggle. And another thing that I was really interested in was the vector function, and I felt like this is something that it's really interesting, since since people are more comfortable writing in Python than they are writing in NumPy, and or writing functions in NumPy rather than like just doing basic Python. So in this case, we're using basic Python skills such as inputting values of x and simple if and else function loops for in Python, to eventually convert it into something that a NumPy uses, or into a NumPy format with you by using Python basic Pythons. Like, so in this case, so just a quick rundown. The x is like a continuous number. It's spontaneously changing, and if x, so here we're giving it a value of x, and if x gets replaced into this function, we're doing a modulus of 2, and hopefully you guys know what modulus is. It's like continuous division, and he gives like a specific functions, and what happens is that it converts those numbers into a NumPy format, which helps with data. Eventually, it's because since we know that NumPy is better at dealing with the data, so, we can use basic Python to deal with to input NumPy values, and I feel like that makes it our makes people who are not willing to type a lot of NumPy functions like life more easier. So yeah, that's something that I was really interested in. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. It's a good explanation, and thank you for taking a stab at it and volunteering the first time we are doing it. So good job, and I like your observation, how you did the observation on the cattle code, and it is really like you went down to the regression analysis and machine learning also. So this is good. So next week also we will continue do the same thing. That's why I'm giving you an option to choose your own data set. Okay, explore your own data set and come up with your observations. We will be talking about it next week. And thank you all, and we will meet in next session in 2 weeks, I believe. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you have any questions, you can email info@agoramastercode.org or comment below and we'll reply back. Maybe. And if you want to see practice things or anything about us, you can visit our website, which is basically the end of the email but without the info and the end. So bye!